Cars with advanced driver assist systems are starting to learn how you drive. Not your route, your behavior. How early you brake, how fast you merge, how confidently you commit to gaps. And then the car begins to make those decisions before you make them yourself. Companies like Mercedes, BMW, Toyota, and Tesla run continuous behavioral profiling of drivers of their cars on the roads in the background. They build a model of your driving style. They learn your tendencies, they learn your timing, they learn your reaction patterns. The car then uses this model to decide when to brake, when to accelerate, and when to position itself in traffic. So the car isn't just helping, it's predicting me? Exactly. If you usually brake early, it prepares earlier. If you like taking wide turns, it sets up for that. If you merge fast, it acts on that pattern. It makes the drive smoother because the car becomes familiar with you. Familiarity is one thing, but this is a machine that's acting first, as if it already knows what I will decide. So this is the direction that most assistive driving is actually moving towards. Toyota calls it Guardian, Mercedes calls it Drive Pilot, and Tesla calls it behavioral cloning. All based on the idea that the safest drive is the one that predicts your style. But style is not identity, and identity is not stable. We act differently depending on the day, depending on the moment, and depending on what's happening in our lives. But the system learns your most common pattern, and that's what it acts on. It tries to support your typical behavior. Typical is not always right, especially when something in your life changes, and that's where the danger sits. But you mustn't forget there's a safety layer here. If the car knows that you normally brake early, it prepares earlier. If you avoid tight passes, it gives you more space. Prediction becomes protection. That's until the day prediction gets it wrong. Think about how fragile human behavior is. Maybe today I got a phone call that says one of my grandparents have died. Maybe I'm shaken, distracted, and I'm definitely not my normal self. But the car doesn't know that. It only knows yesterday's version of me. But it still aligns with your instincts most of the time. Instincts, they shift real fast in life. Picture a crisis moment and an elderly person on the other end. My usual pattern might be to brake early, but today I panic. And maybe, just for a split second, I act differently. But the car wouldn't. It followed a version of me that it learned. Not the version that exists right now. Not the version that may make the choice because of said grandparent incident. Maybe I would normally, if we go back to the trolley problem, maybe if we substituted, like I said, with a child and an elderly person, maybe I would usually choose the road with the elderly person because of obvious reasons that they're going to die sooner, a child has a longer life, etc., etc., etc. This is a difficult thought experiment, so take it as it is. But because my grandparent died, maybe I choose to take the route that kills the child. So the system just keeps a stable copy of you, even when you're unstable. Exactly. It behaves like the memory of me, a past snapshot. And in a split-second emergency, that memory can make a choice I would never make in this exact moment. But the system thinks that it's helping. Well, maybe that's the real shift then. No automation, but imitation. Systems that drive like you, but act a little earlier than you do. And I think that's where we can meet. The technology is clever. There's no denying that. But once the machine copies your behavior, it becomes hard to see where your decision ends and the prediction begins. Because when the car moves fast, it feels like you, even when it's not. I will see you guys tomorrow.